On EcksToo, we've covered a lot of Star Wars fan games. These range from the wildly amazing Star Wars Redemption all the way to the downright awkward, a Palpatine dating simulator. Okay. But in today's video, I want to show you something actually quite impressive. Someone's created their very own Star Wars third-person over-the-shoulder shooter, and it shares many of the same qualities that we see in Battlefront 2. And with the live service of Battlefront 2 shutting down last year, now is a better time than ever to look at Star Wars fan games that create that same spirit that Battlefront 2 had. So in today's episode, I'm going to be diving deep into this Star Wars fan game that you can play today, the maps it has, the gameplay style, the power-ups that you can pick up across the map, and even one really cool feature that makes one map particularly interesting. But finally, also talking about the devastating news that came alongside this game. So without further ado, let's dive into the video. So when searching through itch.io, I came across this Star Wars fan game called Star Wars Episode Z: Return of the Copyright Infringement. Yes, I'm telling the truth here, that is actually the title of this fan game. Kinda tongue-in-cheek considering what happens to most Star Wars fan games that get a bit too big for its boots. Now, to go over the basics, the game has 3 maps to choose from. You have an assault rifle for your primary damage output, and a large radius grenade for your secondary. Unfortunately, the game is split screen only, so if you do want to play the game, you are going to have it split screen with somebody else playing. But if you set this up correctly, you can go against some AI as well. So let's go over the maps. You have Facility, which is the one that I've been showing you most throughout this video. This is your standard, very well lit interior map design. The map itself has about 3 levels of elevation, so good FPS players will likely use the map's vertical height to their advantage, that being shooting down to players who are on the bottom level. And across all 3 of these maps, you have teleporters that take you to a completely different point in the map. These are really effective against some certain power-ups the enemy might be using against you, as well as making quick escapes from grenade blasts. And trust me, the blast radius on grenades are pretty high in this game. The next map is called Caves. Now this is my least favourite map of the 3, mostly because the geometry of the rocks in this map make it very hard to shoot players, especially when traversing through the map. It's not necessarily buggy per se, but trying to find the right jumping point to get from rock to rock can be kind of annoying. Not to mention the AI has a pretty rough time trying to traverse it themselves. The other issue I have with this map is that it's simply way too big on the horizontal and vertical side of things. Whilst it's cool that you can snipe enemy players from a distance, it's just too tricky to find out where they are half the time, even if you have the ability to look at the enemy screen to see where they are. Not to mention there's hardly any power-ups or ammo pickups that you can grab, so you can end up running out of ammo really quickly. But maybe that's a good thing for some people because it creates a stress point where you need to go to pick up more ammo. But for me, it's not really my favorite. But for people who do enjoy sniping from a distance, they might enjoy this map. The third map is Station. Now this is the most interesting map of the 3. Its design is very similar to Facility, except 2 major differences. The first being that this map has a very small verticality, meaning that everyone is pretty much on the ground floor. There's no stairs to go up to and try and get an advantage point. And the reason for this is because the map is very, very dark. Now, one feature in this game is the flashlight. You have the ability to turn it off and on. Now, when I was first playing this game, I thought it was very odd because it was kind of useless in the other 2 maps. It was already really well lit, so why did I need a flashlight? But in the space station map, everything is really, really dark. So by turning off the flashlight, you become very hard to see in certain places. Not to mention, there's 2 ways to create literally no sound when moving. One of them is slow moving, where you move at 25% of the average speed, but the advantages are you reduce some of the recoil and you make virtually no noise when moving. The other is crouching, where you reduce the recoil even further, you reduce your hitbox, but you move even slower. This movement feature, including turning off your flashlight, makes you completely stealthed in dark areas of the map. This is fantastic for trying to catch out the enemy player, and it gives a breath of fresh air to what is a very standard third-person shooter. Okay, but let's talk about power-ups. Unfortunately, there isn't too much to say when it comes to power-ups. You have your very standard health packs. When collected, they regenerate your health over time. You've got your ammo as well. This is quite effective because you definitely run out of ammo really fast in this game, especially when you have to reload quite often because you have a very small clip. One interesting thing is that you've got the magic eye pickup as well. Now, this suggests that there is other guns in the game, but after exploring all 3 maps, I didn't find any. which sucks because it could definitely give that Halo 3-esque style of gameplay of knowing where the best weapons are. So unfortunately, just one weapon pickup. You have the speed boost pickup, which is actually quite interesting. You're unable to sprint manually, but by picking up the power up, you get this completely new animation as you're able to sprint across the map. However, attempting to turn direction cancels out the speed boost entirely, so it's used more to just help you get from one specific point of the map to the other. But the most interesting pickup of them all is the AI pickup. So when you pick this up, it spawns an AI that runs towards the enemy player and begins shooting. They will chase this player endlessly, even when they literally run out of ammo. If you're playing on your own, this ends up being really good target practice. If you only have one controller, you can just spawn loads of these until they run out of ammo, and then try to find advantage points to shoot them down. Facility tends to be the best map for this, because the AI gets a bit confused, so it tries to go in different directions and different angles to get to the enemy player. So these create moving targets for you to better your aim. But if you do have a second controller, you can move that character onto an AI spawner. There it'll endlessly spawn new AI for you to fight against, but that pretty much sums up the power-ups in the game so far. Finally, the overall gameplay is pretty much just deathmatch. First to 5 kills wins the game pretty much. You can adjust this before jumping into a map, but besides that, there is no more game modes for this pretty much fan-made demo. But with the gameplay, maps and power-ups covered, let's talk about why this game has a pretty sad ending. The reality is, this game was made 2 years ago, back in 2019. The developer goes by the name Quadcorps. He's published a few games on itch.io, and with the Star Wars game, it started off with only one map and no power-ups. But in the version 2.0, he decided to add the caves and space station map, as well as power-ups and AI. This was developed in Unreal Engine 4, which explains why it looks good, but the gameplay feels really tight as well, especially when it's only created by one person. And with the Battlefront 2 live service shutting down, this could have been an amazing fan game to play online with frequent updates. Yes, sure, it wouldn't be as good as the Battlefront 2 series, obviously, but if a game like this got frequent updates from the developer, like online capabilities where you could play against friends online, this would have been a really popular fan-made Star Wars game. But the really sad story about this is because the guy genuinely thought he didn't do a good job. He got 1 or 2 negative reviews when he first published it, and with the 2 reviews giving him a 1-star rating, he didn't know where he went wrong and he was asking how to make it better. And then after that, he just stopped working on it. And the sad story is, this would have been a really cool game to play with friends. The guy clearly has an amazing talent, and it sucks that he stopped working on this. As for trying to reach out to him, he's not posted on itch.io for well over a year now. And after diving in a bit deeper, I couldn't find where to contact him elsewhere. So Quadcorps, if you're watching this video, buddy, pick this thing back up. I really enjoyed it, even if it was just me playing against AI on my own. Have a single player mode, give it online capabilities, add new maps, music, sound effects, the whole shebang, and I promise you, so many people would enjoy this type of game. We're in a position right now where we're not getting any updates on Battlefront 2, we're not going to see Jedi Fallen Order 2 for well over another year, and Star Wars fans are feeling a real drought in Star Wars games alike. So this would have been an amazing project to cover in more depth if it had more updates. The developer himself wanted to make this game because he was inspired by the multiplayer mode from the classic GoldenEye 007 released for the N64. And personally, I loved GoldenEye 007 and its multiplayer game mode. And I think he did a great job at capturing the spirit of that game, as well as many others like Halo 3 and Battlefront 2. I'll keep trying to reach out to the developer. Maybe he might catch wind of this, but for now, heartbreakingly so, this game is going to remain dead. Sorry to bring you yet another awesome Star Wars fan game that is dead on arrival. I'm really sorry, guys. But hey, who knows, if this video does really well and ends up reaching him, it might not be a dead game anymore. For that, we will just have to wait and see. If you'd like to play the game yourself, I'll leave it in the description down below. You get the most out of this game if you have 2 controllers plugged into your PC. And if this video gains enough traction, we might make another video showing you how to play it with friends online. But besides that, guys, my question of the day to you guys is, would you like to see more updates to this fan game? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Maybe you really want to see more of this fan game, or perhaps there's just not enough for you and you're just not that interested. Either way, let me know. And finally, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to support EcksToo even further, you can join our Patreon, which is in the top right corner right now, or in the description down below. There you'll be able to get awesome things like newsletters, videos that will never come out on EcksToo, and if you want to go a step further, you can get your very own bespoke EcksToo avatar designed by a professional artist. But besides that, guys, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. I've been Charlie, you've been watching EcksToo, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.